ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here on the road. No time to waste. I have to get this out right now. So many balls in the air that I kind of dropped one of them. Dr. Steve Pieczenik 2 weeks ago told me that the intelligence community and others were carrying out a soft coup against Hillary, and that Obama was going to be warned to basically stand down and not back her in her criminal activity, because they're all aware of it. We talked about it on air, and then he told me last Friday, I guess it was, Friday, he called me, and he said, Alex, the soft coup is going to be put in place. You know, Obama's going to dump Hillary. And I'm like, okay, great. I called my producer and said, get Pieczenik on. Then a few days go by, the weekend goes by, it's now Tuesday, Pieczenik's on tomorrow. He puts out a video, his face hadn't been seen in 20 years, former spy chief, and he says the soft coup's happened. I had Rob Dew already, before I saw this minutes ago, coming over to my house to shoot a video saying soft coup now against Hillary taking place, because Obama is dumping her on Twitter, Facebook, so is Michelle. They've canceled all the events with her, so is Joe Biden. All the Democrats are now standing against her, turning against her. That she's known as a communist Chinese agent. She's not a Russian, so she double dealt with them. This is so historic. More coming at INFO-Counter-Coup. I'm going to send this report in, have it clipped on to the Steve Pieczenik video to put on Facebook and Twitter for maximum push. And again, Steve is on tomorrow, I believe. Again, I'm driving down the road here. I'm going to call, make sure that's happening. I just called him a minute ago. He didn't answer. Alex Jones here with the Battle for the Republic. This is real. It's happening. INFO-Counter-Coup.
On November 1, 2016, Hillary and Bill Clinton and their entourage of assistants effected a civilian coup. In contrast to the usual concept of a coup where the military is involved and takes over the White House and communication centers, very much like the scenarios you see in a movie, this coup was done silently and very effectively through two methods: corruption and co-optation. The Clintons have been involved in co-opting our White House, our judiciary, our CIA, our Federal Bureau of Investigation, our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, and our Director of the FBI, James Comey, for some time now. What they've done is to make sure that they were part and parcel of a group of people who were interrelated through political cronyism. However, in order to stop this coup, we in the intelligence community and others involved have informally gotten together, and with their permission, I am beginning to announce that we've initiated a counter-coup through Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. What has happened in effect when Comey had to open up the case of Hillary Clinton and discuss the emails that were involved with the Anthony Weiner case, it was not the case itself that was as important as the fact that this was the entree for many of us in the counter-coup to say to the administration, we have your number. Not only do we have your number, we're going to stop you from making Hillary the President of the United States. And at the same time, we will convict and indict the President of the United States, Loretta Lynch, and many others who were involved in the cover-up of the massive corruption that occurred under the Clinton Foundation. Now, in both cases, their coup was silent, and our counter-coup was silent, and it was all transgressed or occurred on the internet. And this is probably the first time in the history of any country where a coup was initiated through the internet and a counter-coup was initiated through the internet. I am just a small part of something far bigger than myself. It was the brave men and women who were in the FBI, the CIA, the Director of Intelligence, the military intelligence, and men and women in 15 other intelligence organizations who were sick and tired of seeing this corruption in the White House, in the Justice Department, and in the intelligence system. And we decided that there was something we had to do in order to save the Republic. So we initiated a counter-coup through Julian Assange, who's been very brave and really quite formidable in his ability to come forth and provide all the necessary emails that we gave to him in order to undermine Hillary and Bill Clinton. Again, America, we're going through a major, major transition and, quite frankly, a second American Revolution. We do not have guns, we do not have weapons, we do not intend to kill anybody, we do not intend to harm anybody. But we, the American public, and those of us who serve as veterans and in the intelligence service like myself, will stop the Clintons from assuming power that they don't deserve. At the same time, we will make certain that Obama leaves without any trail of a pardon or any other act of treason. In effect, we want a peaceful transition in this great American republic. I bring you this news, and I want you to understand what has happened. A moment of history is occurring right now in front of us, and I'm proud to explain it to you.
The right-wing smear machine has gotten Alex Jonesified this election cycle.
There's a guy named Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
From INFO-Wars.
From INFO-Wars.
Yeah.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
One of those guys who believes Bigfoot was responsible for 9/11.
I heard that on Alex Jones, so it's true.
Claims that 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings were inside jobs.
The conspiracy du jour, Hillary Clinton is harboring a secret medical condition.
You just had to keep digging, didn't you, Alex?
I heard it on Alex Jones, so I know it's true.
Google is being accused of hiding negative stories about Hillary and her campaign by changing its algorithm to bury stories like the Clinton body count story. That's according to website INFO-Wars.
And this really just is so disgusting.
The juice of these pickles is on you, Alex Jones.
It goes right from Alex Jones, and it shows up in Donald Trump's mouth.
Hillary Clinton created ISIS with Obama.
The very fringe of the conspiracy movement, like Alex Jones, are being kind of incorporated into the campaign.
If Trump gets elected, he's going to be Secretary of Defense.
I think that Alex Jones is a lunatic.
Move, bitch! Get out the way!
Bill Clinton is a rapist, Infowars.com.
Bill Clinton is a rapist.
Bill Clinton is a rapist. Infowars.com. Infowars.com. Bill Clinton's a rapist.
The New World Order sends its regards.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
Recently, many of you have read in the newspapers or saw on the Sean Hannity show that Jeff Roven, so-called fixer for the Clintons, has been working for them for 25 to 26 years and making sure that a lot of their miscreant behavior or their past indiscretions were covered up. In particular, Jeff came out 2 days ago on the Sean Hannity show. He'd been working on behalf of the National Enquirer as a reporter, but at the same time as a fixer for Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton to make sure that anything that was negative with respect to publicity was totally eliminated. Now, that's a job that's been done by many people in many administrations. There's nothing new about it. But what is new is the fact, and the fact that Hillary and Bill Clinton have been so much involved in so many chicaneries and illicit affairs that one would think they literally walked on water and they had no bad habits whatsoever. And as we know, Hillary is a compulsive liar, a fornicator, a woman of ill repute in many ways, as Bill Clinton was a pathetic president and individual. We know much about Bill Clinton, but we know a little bit less about Hillary. It was Jeff Roven who exposed the fact that Hillary had numerous affairs with young women and senior officials of the Hollywood community, women who wanted to have a lesbian affair with Hillary. Hillary by nature is far more lesbian than she is bisexual. Although the one incident in which she did have an affair and it became kind of notorious was the one with her partner in the law firm, Vince Foster, who a decade or so more was found dead in Washington, D.C., and the Clintons claimed that it was a suicide. It was up to Jeff Roven to create the appearance that the murder of Vince Foster by whomever the Clintons ordered appeared as if it was a suicide. So Jeff came out on behalf of the National Enquirer and his colleagues in the National Enquirer to defend them, to say basically that he'd been hired by the Clintons to be their fixer for well over 25 years. Now, I've known Jeff for about that period of time. He started writing with me and for me on the Op Center series. He's a highly gifted writer, a very serious man of quite a strong integrity. And when I asked him why did he come out now, he basically admitted to me that the National Enquirer was being attacked by the Clintons as a reputable newspaper. And in fact, one of the things that Jeff has always informed me about is that the National Enquirer has never been sued effectively. In other words, if they expose something about you or your background, it's pretty accurate. And if you want to take them to court, you never really win. Well, in this case, the Clintons went after the National Enquirer, although they had hired Jeff Rovin and others from the National Enquirer to squash anything that might have been negative about them. So in effect, the Clintons went after their own self-destruction. And that's something that I want to talk about right now. There is within Hillary and also within Bill this compulsive need to continuously create irregular habits, unfortunate incidences, and literally transgress the role as if they were looking to be punished and as if they were wanting to be caught in some illicit activity. It's not just once. It wasn't just Bill being paid off by the Chinese in Arkansas or Taiwan, or Sam Walton, the former captain of intelligence, who helped them out and had funneled in Chinese money and had helped the CIA to bring in drugs into Myrna, Arkansas. And it wasn't the fact that Bill Clinton also affiliated with the CIA, it's that he had to go out of his way to besmirch his own reputation, the reputation of his wife, the reputation of the CIA, the reputation of his roommate at Oxford, Strobe Talbot, who was the editor-in-chief of Time magazine. And at the same time, Hillary Clinton also went out of her way, independent of Bill, to besmirch her credentials and reputation by creating illicit affairs with young women, older women, and sometimes men that were facilitated by Jeff Rovin and others in the National Enquirer. Now, when you analyze this type of behavior, what you see is an incredibly self-destructive streak within each of them, which has been cultivated year in and year out by the fact that they've never had to be accountable for the consequences of their behavior. What concerns me most is if that Hillary Clinton comes back into the White House as the President of the United States, she will in fact displace and project all that self-destructive behavior onto our country and go into other wars that were not necessary. In the same way that she went into Libya unnecessarily in order to, quote, take out Gaddafi, when in fact Gaddafi, there was no need to take out Gaddafi. He was our ally, we funded him, and she went out of her way to create a false narrative that he'd been killing his people, that there was an uprising, when in fact there was none of that available. So what I'm saying, Mr. and Mrs. America, is that from time to time I will break into your living room or your computer and describe some of the things that concern me and should concern you. And in this case, I want to commend Jeff Rovin for having come out, gone on the record, went to Fox News and the Sean Hannity report and exposed the Clintons for what they were: liars, corrupt, cheaters, miscreant, homosexual, bisexual, lesbian, so on and so forth. So it's up to you, Mr. and Mrs. America, to decide what you want to do with that information and how you may want to treat your future President of the United States. Until the next time, I bid you farewell and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.
The bottom line on nuclear weapons is that when the president gives the order, it must be followed. There's about 4 minutes between the order being given and the people responsible for launching nuclear weapons to do so. As president, I will make it clear that the United States will treat cyber attacks just like any other attack. We will be ready with serious political, economic, and military responses.
They're voting for peace on planet Earth if they vote for Trump. But if they vote for Hillary, It's war.
We came, we saw, he died.
With her, you'll end up in World War III.
I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran.
Right now, Senator, for us to control all of the airspace in Syria would require us to go to war against Syria and Russia.
The U.S. military has just raised the threat level to DEFCON 2. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is still threatening Russia with military action following unconfirmed reports of further hacking. It's like she's not even concerned about the repercussions.
Of course not, because she's...
There's a really loud noise.
All right, looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. We'll try to get Leanne back on in a few minutes.
When the president gives the order, it must be followed.
Roger.